Howdy folks, I hope you're well. So, loft visit and interview 2 from here in Romania today, and we now have I'll call him a champion because he is, or I think he is, sprint middle distance flyer in Constanta in Romania, Radu. Welcome, Gabi.
Bine ați venit.
And so I've already, as you know, you may have known, I've done one loft visit today of the extreme distance champion. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because there's a bit of a crossover that I'll tell you about, or that we'll tell you about. It's all right. I do it all the time. There's a crossover there. There's which we'll go into in a little while. So I'm going to talk about the birds. We've got some of the birds to show you, and we'll crack on. So thanks for doing this. It's really appreciative. How did you start with pigeons? What age did you start with, and how did you start?
Deci am început în 2005.
He started racing pigeons in 2005.
Am zburat la un nivel mediu.
He raced the pigeons, but he didn't do it at that time at a professional level.
Am jucat în special categoria 1 și a 2, care mi s-a părut deosebită.
He raced what he considered to be an exceptional discipline, so sprint and middle distance.
La un an sau 2 ani după ce am zburat, după ce am început să zbor, am reușit să câștig locuri de frunte în Constanța.
A year after he started, he managed to accomplish to obtain some top performances in Constanța, in our city.
După care am urmat școala, am lăsat porumbei.
Afterwards, he was forced to drop the pigeon sport, going through school.
Okay.
În 2012 m-am reapucat de porumbei.
In 2012, he started racing pigeon again.
Am alături de Cătălin Căruntu la București.
In a partnership along with Cătălin Căruntu from Bucharest.
De unde am început columofilia la nivel de top.
When he started racing pigeons at a professional level.
De unde am început să câștigăm de la viteză până la maraton.
And they started winning together races from sprint, middle distance, long distance and extreme long distance.
În primul an când ne-am apucat la pui,
in the first year they started racing with young birds.
Pot să zic că am avut un sezon extraordinar. Câștigam de la locul 1 multe locuri, 20, 30.
They had what he considers to be a sensational racing season where he started winning places all over to 20th place and 30th place in one race.
Am avut în același an, onoarea să-l cunosc pe Cocoș Petrică.
In the same year, he had the honor of meeting a special person for him, Petrică Cocoș.
La care pot să zic că am învățat totul.
From which he can strongly affirm that he learned everything he knows.
Toate rezultatele au apărut în acel an.
The results appeared in that year because of him.
So let's rewind a minute. So you started 2005, but really you took it seriously and you took it up a next level in 2012. But the two things that happened in 2012, I know from speaking earlier before we started this live, was that you met your mentor, essentially, and he taught you everything you know about racing pigeons. But in addition, you got the right birds. So it's that combination of knowledge and bloodlines and the right stock that really, and that's the combination, isn't it? Because good quality birds without the knowledge still won't perform as they need to. So it was 7 years ago really you got the magic combination of the best birds you could get with the best mentor.
Yeah.
And that's what, and then obviously without taking it away from you, then you've perfected it yourself over the last 7 years, but it's that base of knowing that you know everything there is to know from this man in order to succeed, and you've got the best pigeons. Going back to how the pigeons you got then, can you tell us more about what the birds were, how you got them?
Ne poți spune mai multe despre originea produselor pe care the bird he had back then, the birds he started with.
Da, cu asta am înțeles. Cu asta vreau să încep. M-am dus în 2011 la domnul Cocoș.
This is the thing he wanted to start with. So in 2012 he went to Petrica Cocoș.
Și mi-a oferit 2 pui.
And he offered him 2 babies.
Dintr-un pui
From one of the babies
este pilonul crescătoriei noastre în momentul actual.
is the pillar of the actual breeding.
So that
Loft
pretty much
now.
the whole loft come from that one baby.
Yeah, around one pigeon.
Wow.
Și cei 2 porumbei puși în pereche
And those 2 pigeons put together, they bred
au reprodus primul nostru porumbel de top la demifon la București.
they bred the first top pigeon in middle distance in Bucharest.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the person that taught you, I forgot his name, I'm sorry.
Petrica Cocoș.
He is a well-known pigeon guy within Romania.
Este considerat
He's considered to be
unul dintre cei mai buni demifondiști, el alături de tandemul lui Robert Mușat.
one of the best middle distance racers, along with his partner
Robert Mușat.
Mushat.
And they now work with
La Florea.
Soren Flora.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Robert actually friend requested me a couple of days ago. Okay, so you've had a great start, but that's not taking anything away from the work you've put in yourself. You can't just know everything and have the right birds. You've still got to put the work in to do so. So explain to people that are watching this the kind of results you've had. This is the time to tell the world really, what results you've had and exactly what you've achieved in, 7 years is a relatively short time in pigeons, and all the results you've achieved. Tell people what you've achieved.
Păi, ce să zic, doar că am început doar cu niște porumbei de calitate.
He started off with pigeon of a superior quality.
La o îndrumare la un om care era maestru emerit în așa ceva, era
taking advices, following the advices of a top fancier in this sport,
ajutându-mă și învățând tot sistemul și jocul de la el.
Learning and following the racing system from him.
Am ajuns să dezvolt în același timp propriul meu stil.
He got to the point where he could evolve from the knowledge acquired from Petrica Cocoș, his own way of playing this game.
So you develop your own method.
Strategy and everything.
Cum am spus și Marc, în același timp scurt, am reușit să formez niște porumbei datorită acelor 2 porumbei la domnul Cocoș.
So in this short time, relatively short time, he managed to create, based on those 2 pigeons that he received from Petrica Cocoș,
care din acel cuplu a luat naștere 336, care este campionul nostru la București.
So out of that couple, he created the champion from Bucharest to sprint and middle distance.
Locul 3, viteză Constanța.
First place, speed on Constanța.
So to interrupt, what was the competition in Bucharest like? There's a lot of flyers around Bucharest.
În București, în momentul când zburam noi, Bucureștiul era împărțit în columbofilii români știu, Bucureștiul a fost împărțit în două.
So, at that time, Bucharest was split in two sections.
Și erau, cum să zic, columbofili care zburau către o federație și columbofili care zburau în altă federație.
So, one side was racing pigeons in one federation, and the other side was playing in another federation.
Noi am câștigat la FRSC.
They win in FRSC.
Și odată cu domnul Florea, ea a fost cel care a reușit să unească Bucureștiul, jucând acum tot Bucureștiul.
And nowadays, because of Sorin Florea, they managed to unite everything and have like a whole, not being divided. Yeah, a whole federation over the entire entire region over there. Care este numărul de crescători? În ce competiții ați reușit să faceți rezultatele astea?
A trecut mult timp și n-aș ști să spun exact numărul. Țin minte că doar la noi, la club, erau 58 de persoane.
So, to answer to your question, it's been a long time since there, and he doesn't remember the competition he did those results in, but only in his club, which was a small club, were 52 fanciers.
Wow, that was a small club.
Yeah.
So 52 flyers in a small club. That shows you how big the competition was back then. Okay, so you cracked Bucharest for the middle distance. Then you came down here and you started in Constanta. And what are the kind of results you've been having down here?
Care sunt felul de rezultate pe care le-ați obținut după ce ați venit din București?
După ce am venit din București, am venit acum 2 ani.
He came from Bucharest 2 years ago.
We've been asked if you can up your volume slightly.
My volume. All right then.
Am venit acum 2 ani. Am mai zburat acum un an cu o altă persoană.
Nu, al meu. All right, so you came from Bucharest 2 years ago.
Acum câțiva ani am venit din București, când am oprit colaborarea la porumbei cu cătă.
So he stopped the partnership in Bucharest that he had with his last what was his name?
Am venit Cătălin
Căruntu. And he came down here and he started racing with Mr. Dan Leu.
Am început anul acesta, 2019.
He started 2019
cu un partenerul meu, Dan Leu.
With Dan Leu.
Am început cu un lot de 40 de porumbei.
With a number of 40 pigeons.
Dintre care 80% din ei au fost tardivi.
Among which 80% were late bred.
Această colaborare a început destul de târziu.
This partnership was formed later in the year.
În august-septembrie.
In August-September.
Și am reușit să ducem niște pui.
And they managed to create some babies.
Destul de mici pentru anul acesta care a zburat. Destul de
pretty
mici.
young for this year, for the racing season.
Care au reușit să și câștige anul acesta.
Surprisingly managed to win and do some sensational results.
Wow. So you've kind of dominated the sprint middle distances. Tell us the strains and the bloodlines of the sprint middle birds that you've got and that are doing the winning down here. What are the bloodlines?
Porumbeii principali ai noștri, cum am și menționat, sunt porumbei de la domnul Cocoș și Robert Mușat.
The base pigeons are composed of pigeons from
Cocoș, Petrică și Robert Mușat.
Petrică, Cocoș și Robert Mușat.
Pe urmă, porumbei de la domnul Chicheanu plus Rusu, tandemul.
And afterwards they introduced pigeons into the stock loft from Chicheanu and Rusu. Another partnership, top partnership that broke apart from Constanța.
Am reușit să aducem porumbei de Gabi Van den Abel,
They also brought in Gabi Van den Abili pigeons,
Freddy, la
Freddy.
Dehede, porumbei de Rudy Dills,
Rudy Dills,
Leo Heremans, plus alți porumbei aduși recent, alți porumbei aduși recent care sunt în probe.
and other pigeons that were introduced recently that are still in tests.
Right.
So
Okay.
they were introduced as babies and they are currently racing. And if they make it, they're going to be introduced into the breeding system as well.
Okay.
Baza noastră este pe porumbei de Gabi Van den Abel.
The base now is consistent Gabi Van den Abili.
Deținem nepoți de Blixen,
They own grandchilds of Blixen,
Rudy,
Rudy,
New Blixen,
New Blixen.
și
I
mulți
think that's
alți.
somebody that probably is
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Just excuse us 1 minute, 1 second, guys. Intermission break.
Perfect time for small.
Oh. It's very easy. Bună seara! Bine ați venit! Bună seara, bună seara! Nicio problemă.
A zis că să nu ne facă vreo...
Suntem
opinion.
live.
Apologies for that, folks. We just got our lift and guest back. Right, so we'll carry on. So Gabi van der Velde, bass, and Robert Mossat, birds. That's how I pronounce it. Isn't it?
Robert Mushat.
Bushat. They were ultimately, you can see, there we go. Yeah, maybe you'll see. So they're the base, and they're the ones that are doing the damage down here. What kind of numbers fly down here in?
Care este
Care-
competiție aici? Care sunt
E o
ce număr de crescători?
competiție foarte puternică.
There's a really powerful competition around.
Sunt campioni naționali, campioni olimpici.
There are national champions, Olympic champions in this area.
Este o zonă care România o recunoaște ca o zonă de viteză de mifon foarte puternică.
It's an area renowned in Romania as one of the toughest sprint to middle distance performance.
I was going to say that. I mean, this is probably the strongest area in Romania for flying anywhere in Romania. Yeah, it's the
Mai sunt zone, dar și Constanța este una din zonele
There
puternice.
are other areas with similar performances, but this area is one of the strongest one in the country.
Okay. And how many birds would fly? How many birds would you compete against on any normal week?
Se începe cu 6-7 mii de porumbei.
They start at the beginning of the year with 6,000-7,000 pigeons.
6,000 to 7,000 at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Pe urmă pleacă, mai sunt porumbei care pleacă la fond și maraton.
There are birds that split to go to long distance and extreme long distance.
Și rămân 2.000-3.000 de
And there are
porumbei
about 2,000 or between 2,000 and 3,000 birds that remain to compete till the end of
Yeah.
the year, till the end of the season in sprint to middle distance
So
races.
that's still strong numbers for the end of the season.
Țin să menționez că spre finalul sezonului
She would like to mention that towards the end of the season,
mulți crescători încep să renunțe în a juca viteză de mifond.
Many fanciers quit playing middle to short to middle distance,
Și numărul de porumbeni se diminuează.
and the number of pigeons drops dramatically.
Și rămân jucătorii pur de viteză de mifond,
And they are left in the game. They are left only the dedicated
Hardcore.
racers. Yeah,
și unde lupta e
diehards.
acerbă.
And the fight is real.
Yeah, because you were saying before we came on that like the races towards the end are the ones that really matter. They're the ones where it's kind of make or break.
Make the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you're known for sprint middle flying, but I found out, and I only found this out when I was sitting here before we came online, that to actually win the same trophy we saw that Jigger had earlier, you have to compete in more than just sprint and middle to get that trophy. And to do that, you've got to start competing in long distance birds as well, in races. Yeah? So there's an interesting thing. So he wants to get that big trophy that if you saw it earlier, the amazing trophy that Jigger had earlier, Gabriel wants to get as well.
The ultimate title.
That's the ultimate title in Romania, but he can't get that only with sprint middle. I say only from a point of view of that's not taking away the discipline, but to get that, and that's something actually as a crossover quickly, I didn't know, and I don't think you knew at the time, that actually Jigger used to fly middle distance birds, sprint middle distance birds as well, which we didn't know at the time. So to get that humongous trophy you may have saw earlier, and if you haven't seen it, go and watch it so you know the trophy we're talking about. Gabi, to get that, you've now got to start a whole new discipline of racing long distance pigeons.
Extra.
Yeah.
Extra long distance.
And not only to start it, but to obtain top results in it.
Yeah. To even win it, you've got to be right at the top. So there's an interesting crossover there. In the to get the birds to do that, who have you gone to?
Stai așa să
La
luăm...
cine te-a dus? Te-ai dus să-ți procuri genul acela de păsări și...
Pentru o distanță lungă.
Da, pentru noua disciplină.
Deci pentru noua disciplină am un prieten foarte bun, Andrei Demit.
For that new category he's doing, he has a very good friend called Andrei Demit,
care este multiplu campion în acesta la distanțe lungi și foarte lungi, Grand Prix tineret, 2 etape naționale ca porumbel de un an.
prea complicat pentru mine, which is multiple champion for extreme long distance in Romania at the moment.
Nu, în Constanța,
In
momentan.
Constanța at the moment, yeah.
Care a câștigat ceea ce în Constanța nu s-a întâmplat, ca un yearling. Da?
And he accomplished what was never done in Constanța
With a yearling.
With a yearling, yeah.
Wow.
Să câștige, să facă norma din 2 etape naționale.
He did, I don't know, nu știu cuvântul normă, nu există așa
Categorie.
ceva.
Să claseze cele 2 etape pentru a îndeplini o
He
normă.
clocked 2 of what were to be 2 very tough races to make the category.
Wow. So you've started getting long distance, extreme long distance birds in, and realistically, how long do you think that's going to take you to start winning? Come on, tell us. Do you think it's going to be like a year, 2, or do you think it's going to take time, or do you think you can do it relatively
Vreau
quickly?
să încep ca de la anul, abia să reproduc pui. Pentru...
He would like to start breeding for the next year.
Și vreau să las ca porumbei de un an
And he wants to leave the yearlings
să prindă experiență.
To
Joc doar
mature
pe fonduri.
get some experience and education.
Pe urmă voi ajunge să atac, cum spunea, etapele de maraton.
And after flying long distance with them as yearlings, he will attend the extreme long distance races.
All right, so it's year 2022 when when hopefully you're going to get that big trophy.
Până atunci promit că o să câștigăm la viteză de mifond în continuare.
He's promising that he will do the same good results in sprint and middle distance pigeon racing.
O să viteza de mifondul tot în acest tandem o jucăm. Leu Daniel și Radu Gabriel Team se va numi.
He would keep performing under the same name, under the same team.
Yeah.
Vom zbura din această locație.
He will change the location of the loft to this location.
În locația
For long distance or for sprint?
from long distance and extra
Okay.
For both of them. Yeah.
În momentul actual, unde ne aflăm acum, sunt doar porumbei de reproducție.
At the moment, at this location, are situated only the breeding stock, breeding pigeons.
Și sperăm că pe viitor să avem rezultate aici.
And they hope that in the future they'll get very good results over here.
Cool. Well, bring on 2022. Let's see some pigeons. That's okay, please.
Bun, cu care să începem?
Tu știi, Orina. Ei pe acolo au făcut rezultate mai în trecut. Înțelegi? La început. Și după aceea arăți campionii actuali.
Păi, eu am adus doar pe cei actuali.
Ah, ok.
Din trecut sunt la reproducție. Mergem la reproducție pe urmă.
He asked me how to present the pigeons, and I said, show the pigeons that did
Yeah, tell us what they did, and I'll
results in the past, and work your way towards the ones that are
Yeah.
champions
Alternate.
in the present.
Yeah.
And he said, I only have the champions from the present.
Okay.
Aceasta este femela noastră de bază.
This is our base hen,
Porumbelul nostru de echipă, 24.
our team pigeon. She's called 24.
Okay.
Este un porumbel de gust cristian.
It's a Gus Christian pigeon.
This Christian. I'm going to get close up to show the people at home then. So this is his base hen. Get you a close up of the eye there.
Are 4 categorii. Un top 3. Cele 4 categorii. Viteză, demifon și palmares.
She clocked three different disciplines.
Okay.
Sprint, middle distance.
She was top 3
She was top 3 in two different
in 2 different disciplines.
Yeah,
So she's a 2017 bird. Is that right?
yeah, I think so. Red ring.
Oh, how's it going? Yeah, 2017. So she was top 3 in 2 different disciplines.
3 different.
Top 3, 3 different disciplines. So that's the base hen.
Este o femelă jucată la vădăvie.
It's a widowhood hen. She's only flying widowhood.
Mm-hmm.
Partenerul ei s-a pierdut. A fost una din femelele care i-a zburat și partenerul.
Okay, she was raced along with her pair, which was also on widowhood,
Uh-huh.
Partenerul ei a fost mult mai bun.
and her partner did way better results, but he got lost.
Oh, wow.
Mai așteptam o etapă ca pentru titlul de campion garantat.
He only needed one more race for
To be
the
the
title
champion.
of national champion.
S-a pierdut la etapa a 8-a
He was lost on the 8th race,
și din momentul acela am început să o motivăm pe ea în multe alte feluri, dar fără mascul.
and from that point onwards, she was motivated without a cock, but in other ways.
Wow.
So she flew
A zburat efectiv fără mascul, fără pereche.
the last 4 races without a pair. And that's
Yeah,
something
Tom, I
special.
will do, mate. I've got a request from Tom Powers, and anything Tom asks, I try to do.
You need to do.
I'm going to show you the width of the tail feathers. I've had a request to show, so I will. Let me just get her comfortable. There we go.
Categorie.
Thank you. Okay. If you've got any questions, folks, as we're showing you these birds, or if you've got any questions generally for Gabi, let us know. This is your chance to ask. Sprint middle. He's gonna be national champion. We can't guarantee that yet, but he is. And then this is your chance to ask any questions. So fire them in. Let's get another bird, Gabi.
Ea este 176.
This is 176.
O altă femelă de top,
Another top hen
care a câștigat 2 categorii.
that win 2 categories.
E o femelă tânără, fiind tardivă.
It's a young hen, and she was raised as a late bred.
Wow.
Și țin să menționez că până la ultima etapă
Till the last race,
n-a aruncat nicio pată.
she didn't throw away any of her feathers. She didn't change any feathers.
Este o femelă Gabi Van den Abele,
She's a Gabi Van den Abele based hen.
tatăl ei este nepot de Rudi
Her father is a grandson of Rudy,
și a fost reprodus la noi în crescătorie.
and she was based here in this loft.
Wow.
Iar mama ei
Her mother
este reprodusă dintr-un porumbel ce a avut 3 locuri de 1 la viteză.
Her mother comes out of a pigeon that obtained 3 times first place
Pe întreaga lansare.
or sprint distance.
So she's a great
Open.
granddaughter of Rudy.
Tatăl ei.
Her father is the grandson of
Yeah,
Rudy.
so she's a
She's
great granddaughter of Rudy here. So one of his, and this one in 2 different disciplines. As a yearling, this is only a yearling
and
pigeon.
late bred.
Late bred as well, yeah.
Și mai am o singură femelă.
Again, fire away any questions, any comments, let us know.
O femelă care tot Gabi Van den Abele are în spate.
Another hen with Gabi Van den Abele based.
Femelă ce a reușit să câștige 2 locuri de 1 zonale.
She won 2 first prizes in the zone locally,
Și ne-a ajutat să îndeplinim
and she helped them obtain the title
de crescător.
of breeder.
Wow.
Deci cele 3 femele au ajutat la câștigarea 8 locuri de 1 la
These
crescător.
3 hens helped them obtain
8 locuri de 1,
helped them obtain 8 first prizes,
2 locuri de 2
2 prizes of second place,
și 2 locuri de 3.
and 2 prizes, two third
These
prizes.
3 hens.
Yeah.
Wow.
Primii 5 porumbei
All
nominalizați de echipa.
She's finishing molt, but look.
Provine, este tatăl ei,
Her father is
este nepot de Wittenbuick.
Her father is grandson from Wittenbuick.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
She's a granddaughter of that. Great granddaughter.
Sunt niște porumbei munciți.
She's a small little thing.
They are truly working pigeons.
Yeah. Thank
Și
you.
mai am în Dan, mi-a mai adus un porumbel ce se afla la compartimentele individuale. Este un nepot de Rudy făcut cu sora lui Gloria.
This is another Rudy pigeon when paired to
Sora lui Gloria,
the sister of Glory.
the mother.
I handled
So-
this bird earlier, didn't I?
Another
Is this the one I
Gabi Vandenabili based pigeon.
So,
Deci acela e original Gabi Vandenabel din 2008. E nepotul lui Blixen.
look at this boy.
E nepotul lui Blixen.
So this pigeon is a grandson of Blixen,
Și nepot de Wittenberg.
and on the other side of the pedigree, a grandson of Wittenblick.
There you go. Look at him.
Nu, baza noastră este formată pe porumbei de Gabi.
So their base breeding base is consistent
Gabi
mostly from Gabi Vandenabili pigeons. I know I'm gonna take the blame for all the translation I did.
No, it's fine. This is. There was before we started filming. I went down to the stock loft and handled. There was a dark checker cock in there that I really liked. That dark checker that you showed me. I'd like a pair out of that one day. And this is equally. It's my kind of bird. That.
O să aduc și pilonul crescătoriei, fiul lui, nepoții lui care toți sunt campioni.
If you would like to see some of the breeding stock, some of the breeding
Yeah, we'll go
birds,
down.
since
We'll
these are the racers.
Yeah.
So these birds are
Yeah.
from the racing team, and they will keep on racing
Yeah.
onwards. But we can also show a couple.
Yeah,
of the
we'll go
breeding
down and
birds.
have a look at the breeding stock briefly. Yeah, I like you. Right, so we've got a couple of questions. So what we'll do is we'll ask a couple of questions, if that's okay. We've got about 50 people watching at the moment worldwide. It's still early in the UK, you see. It's still only 7 o'clock, so people are not yet back from work and what have you, but trust me, this will go down well. So we'll get a few questions, if that's okay. Thank you, Stu D. What's the feed he feeds on the sprint, and does he break down?
Ce fel de hrană?
Merg pe mâncare de la Bayers.
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 Folosesc mâncare super premium văduvie.
He's using super premium widowhood.
Și un secret, să-l spun, care
And the secret added to all of that,
folosesc gem,
he's using gem.
G-A-M.
Yeah, the gem supplements.
Yeah. Am fost foarte mulțumit de...
He was very happy
Adică
with
au
the
făcut
results.
porumbei fiind deja obosiți
when the pigeons were already
după
tired
10 etape
after 10 races
și etape cu caniculă de 40-41
in
de
very
grade.
harsh conditions with high temperatures.
I-a ajutat să le crească condiția
He helped those supplements helped the pigeons to regain condition, top form,
să le crească condiția pentru a câștiga locuri de 1.
to be able to continue winning races.
Acela a fost un impuls pentru organismul porumbelului. Consider ceva foarte bun.
Those supplements were like an impulse that pushed the pigeons to continue winning first places, and he considers that to be a very important supplement.
Yeah, a lot of people use that in the UK.
În același timp,
Me included.
folosesc miezul de floare.
He's also using sunflower seeds,
Ce mi umflă porumbei și le dă o explozie deosebită.
which
Explosive energy.
yeah.
See, I'm getting there.
You're getting better at Romanian.
Țin cont foarte mult, mă bazez foarte mult pe mâncare.
He's putting a lot of importance in the food, on the food that
Și
he's feeding,
încerc să-mi finalizez forma porumbelului
and he's finishing the shape of the pigeon
în ultimele 2 zile.
in the last 2 days.
Țin foarte mult cont de vânturi.
He is taking in consideration the wind speeds.
Fiind canicula caniculă la
in the
noi,
temperature conditions,
vântul împingând porumbeii spre mare
and the wind direction that we have
sau
locally
chiar spre noi sau în stânga.
that blows towards the sea. So
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
So the wind here seems to gravitate because we're right on the ocean. Constanta is an ocean town. We were talking earlier before we went live that the wind seems to gravitate to the ocean. So that's a big consideration here for flyers in Constanta that they got that wind against them in some ways. I mean, very rarely it goes with you. Very
Yeah.
rarely it helps.
So most of the times the pigeons come from the race facing the wind.
Yeah, head-on wind. So that's something. So there's a lot. What you've just done there is there's a lot of considerations that couple of days before those birds go to the race. That it's a calculation, really. It's a
Yeah,
Da.
and based on that, he's feeding, he's supplementing, and everything else.
Cum spunea de vânt, favorizează campionul la viteză de mifon, cum se știe. Vântul face campionul.
It's considered locally that the wind direction and the wind speed is determining the actual champion of that race,
Încerc
the winner of that race.
Încerc să-mi formez porumbeii să vină, să intre
So based on that, he's trying to teach the birds to come
pe culoarul cum ar
On a
veni din
certain-
concurs.
on a certain direction.
Adică antrenamentul din timpul săptămânii,
The training from the weekly training.
I was
that
going to
he
say,
does.
before we started live, we were talking. Gabi trains. So this man gets up at 3:00 in the morning, gets the birds, the race birds, and those birds are liberated every time, dead on the dot, 5:15 in the morning, every time. And the reasoning behind that is because those birds are getting used to the time that they will be liberated in a race.
Being active. On
Yeah,
that
being
time
active
of
at
the day.
5:15, which would be no good for me, but these birds are used to it. Go.
eliberând porumbeii la aceeași oră, în același loc,
Liberating the pigeons the same time, same place, every time.
încercând să mă apropii de ora lansării din ziua concursului,
Trying to keep this training on the same time and
Regiment.
conditions as the racing liberation.
ajut porumbelul și îl formez ca odată ce pleacă din mașină,
He's training the pigeons that once he takes flight from the basket,
să aibă explozie,
to push as hard as he can.
pe urmă tot traseul continuă în zborul lui și când ajunge în zona de unde antrenăm, iar mai are încă o explozie.
And maintain the rhythm along the race distance, and afterwards have like another jump of strength when he's getting to the release point that he usually has from the training process.
Yeah, so that's partly
It's like a
energy
double
of the bird,
motivation.
but it's also that bird's going to recognise that training point
Yeah.
and know they're not far away from home.
Yeah.
Two things. One, you need to realise some of the temperatures that they deal with down here in the summer. The summer temperatures can be approaching the high 30s, 40 even
40
degrees
over
centigrade.
40, yeah.
So, they're talking about that's the kind of temperatures these birds are having to get used to. And the flip side of that is as well that down here in the winter, it can get cold. It can go way into the minuses. So if you're watching this in the UK and Ireland and think we've got rubbish weather, the great thing is here now, mid-October, still sitting outside. These guys have got coats on, but I've still got a shirt on. But it's pleasant weather. But when it gets cold, it gets really cold. And ultimately, they have proper seasons, they have extremes of seasons. So these birds are dealing with that as well. But you were telling me earlier how many birds, when in a race, you told me, and I can't remember the numbers. I know it was 28 birds. You had 28 birds trap in how quickly? Was it
1 minute?
Un minut, 2-3 minute, depinde de etapă și, da, marea parte,
cronometrat
28 de porumbei sosiți da, 28 de porumbei sosiți într-un minut jumate.
So he had 28 pigeons coming and clocking all in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
28 birds in 1 minute 30 seconds. That's how quick it is in this area, and that's how quick you have to be to win races. 28 birds. Wow. Okay. Are the birds flown on a roundabout? Tom Powers asks. They are.
Alte păsări?
Sistemul în care îl zbor păsările astea este roundabout.
Zbor văduvia.
Seacă sau...
Nu. Zbor ambii parteneri.
So he's practicing a system where he's racing both partners.
That's roundabout.
Când am deja porumbei actuali care știu că au câștigat și pot câștiga, porumbei care îi simt,
And when he's having proven pigeons that can obtain results,
le
top
țin
results,
partenerul acasă.
he's keeping the partner at home. He's no
Okay.
longer...
Right, so he goes from
Yeah.
roundabout in the testing phase
Yeah.
into widowed.
Yearlingii, în special, zboară ambii parteneri.
A yearling usually, when he's racing yearlings, both of the partners fly, race.
Zboră atât și mascul și femeile, cum se înțelege. Și urmăresc ca un yearling, nu neapărat să-mi aducă un trofeu ca aceștia de aici. Deci,
And when he's racing yearlings, he's not looking for them to produce a top result.
da, aștept să-mi arate că poate să rămână pentru la anul și să câștige cel puțin 3 etape.
He's only looking for them to show potential and to clock free
Consistent.
results.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's good that you give the birds that time. Next question is, how far do you train before the first race and how often?
Cât de
Cât,
departe antrenezi?
La început de sezon sau în timpul sezonului?
In the beginning of the season or in
Yeah,
the
before the first race.
before the first race.
How-
înainte de
Deci,
prima-
înainte de
prima
prima
etapă.
cursă, mă duc la 5 km,
So before the first race, he's going for the first task on 5 kilometers.
20 de kilometri,
Afterwards, he's increasing to the second toss at 20 kilometers,
unde au un prim salt.
where they have like their first jump.
Un salt, noi îl considerăm mare, dar alți columofili spun că e un salt mic. Dar aici ne vedem porumbei care poate să țină stolul la prima lor deplasare, ținând cont că noi nu zburăm pui.
It's more of an observation training, where they can see the potential of young birds, and they make the difference between them, taking in consideration that they don't put the birds in young bird racing, so they don't race the young bird.
Okay. So I'm catching up on all of the questions we've had fired
Alright.
into us. I'm trying to get prepared, ready.
Pe urmă mă duc cu porumbeii la 40-50 de kilometri.
The next training task would be at around 40 to 50 kilometers.
Nu mă duc la primele 4 antrenamente cu mașina asociației.
He's not taking part in the first 4 races with the club.
Antrenament, da?
For the training races, like training
Se
classes
organizează
with
5
the club.
antrenamente de către asociație.
There are 5 training classes organized by the club.
Primele 4 nu mă duc cu ele, mă duc cu porumbeii în aceeași locație în care merge mașina.
He's not going along with the club for the training classes, but he's going to release by himself in the same places as the club car releases.
Și pe urmă mă duc la al 5-lea antrenament, la ultimul antrenament înainte de prima cursă.
And after that, he's actually taking part in the 5th and the last training task with the club.
Pentru a învăța să bea apă din mașină, asta e cel mai
To
important.
teach the pigeons to drink out of the drinkers in the club car.
Și pentru a-mi forma echipa pentru prima cursă.
and to form his team for the first race.
Și avem numai locul 1 la prima cursă, întotdeauna ne formăm echipa
And
foarte bine.
as a fact, doing this selection and this training, always at the first race with the club of the year, they obtain the first prize.
Oh wow. That says it all. Tom Power says that Blue Pup was a sharp pigeon and very inquisitive. It was, Tom. What's the health plan for the year that Chris Davis asks? Do you have any specific health plan that you could share?
Ce plan am pentru?
Medicație, sănătatea porumbilor.
Voi dori să încep medicația, sau luăm așa cu perioada de iarnă. Doresc?
He would like to start from the winter season, the way he's preparing the birds.
Voi începe undeva cam peste 2 săptămâni.
He's gonna start in about 2 weeks
Să
to prepare the birds for winter time.
Să
He
încep
will administer.
să administrez, să încep cu vermi intestinali.
He's gonna make a worm treatment.
Pe urmă, tricomonoză coccidioză sau salmoneloză în funcție de ce ne va spune la laborator.
And afterwards, he's gonna treat for coccidiosis, trichomoniasis, or salmonella, depending on the results they get from the lab. So nothing is
Blind treated.
Yeah.
Am și tratat în perioada de iarnă standard cu antibiotice.
They used to do antibiotic treatment during the winter time.
Însă, pe mine dacă nu mă doare capul, nu înțeleg de ce să iau o pastilă de cap.
But he, as a person, will never take a pill if he doesn't have a illness.
Să iau o pastilă acum că o să mă doare peste 2 luni, nu.
And he's applying the same thing to the pigeon. Yeah.
Well, makes sense. We got there. You must be tired now.
Bine ai venit acasă.
He's been started talking to me in Romanian.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm very good. Thank you.
Da, pe urmă.
It's tiring. I realise it's tiring translated. Okay.
Hai să luăm așa. Am terminat cu salmonella, să spunem, da?
After they treat for based on the results they get from the lab.
Tratăm salmonella.
For example, they treat salmonella or trichomoniasis or canker, as you know it in UK, or coccidiosis. And afterwards,
facem vaccin de paramixo.
They do the PMV vaccine.
Anul trecut am folosit vaccin de paramixo și de salmonelloză.
For last year, for the vaccine, they used a poly vaccine for
paramixo și salmonella.
For PMV and salmonella 2 in 1. No, polyvalent.
Yeah.
Și anul acesta la fel.
And this year as well, and they had great success with it.
So the poly one works. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anything else on that? Anything else you do?
Afterwards, after you prepare the pigeons, for what medication do you administer
în timpul concursului? În campionat, în timpul etapelor, țin foarte mult cont de temperaturi.
So, during the racing season, he's treating based on the temperatures and the conditions.
De umiditatea din aer.
The humidity.
În care alternez căile respiratorii.
And he's alternating treatments for respiratory
sau tricomonază.
Or trichomoniasis.
Okay.
Cool. Dacă este cazul.
If needed, only if needed.
Yeah, so nothing's blind treated.
Yeah.
Chris Davies says, "Isn't it dark out there at 5:15 a.m.?"
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So they just let go anyway.
În timpul sezonului, atunci când eliberezi păsările la 5:30, este întuneric afară.
Nu, e lumină.
De-abia la răsărit?
Soarele a trecut de orizont.
So it's just on sunrise.
Just on sunrise.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just So no dark releasing going on just as the sun's rising. Another question from Tom Powers: have you ever had? From Chris Davis. Have you ever had young bird sickness?
Ai avut boala puiilor?
Am avut problema anul
He did
acesta.
have the problems with young birds disease.
Ca niciodată, deci până acum n-am avut problemă, dar am avut un an, pot să zic, catastrofal.
He never had it before, but he had a very bad year
Yeah, I got
compared
to.
to
Lângă
past
noi,
years.
lângă noi este un vecin ce își lasă porumbei liberi.
He has a neighbor that keeps his flock of pigeons out all the time.
Și am găsit în compartimentul puilor noștri 2 pui cu gușa plină de apă dormind lângă adăpătoare.
And it happened that they found 2 stray pigeons belonging to his neighbor next to the drinker with a crop full of water.
În momentul actual m-a sunat Dan, mi-a spus ce am văzut și am zis imediat să-i treacă pe adenocolimix.
So at the moment they are treating with adenocolimix, which is a antibiotic.
Da. Și pot să zic că am scăpat într-un final.
And they can affirm that they finally got rid of the disease.
It's all gone.
Și, mulțumim lui Dumnezeu, avem pui pentru la anul.
And hopefully they're gonna have some birds left for next year.
Yeah.
Sunt peste 70% din crescătorii din Constanța
Over 70% of the fanciers in Constanța
care mai au foarte puțin pui.
were left with a very low number
So it's hit them
pigeons.
hard then.
Yeah, it's a really
So same in Romania
big
as
problem all over the country.
Wow. Tom Power says we were talking about temperatures. What's the humidity like in the summer?
Care este nivelul umidității pe timpul verii?
Ținând cont că Dan este în port,
Taking in consideration that we are next to the harbor and next to the sea,
mă ține la curent cu cote de 70, 85,
We can find out from their meteo station that we're having average of 70% humidity.
da, 75-80%.
An average
cotele
between
lor,
70 and 80% humidity during the racing season.
Wow.
Când încep caniculele, nu mai e vorba de umiditate.
When the high temperatures start, the humidity disappears, but they switch immediately to other problems.
Primele 3 săptămâni avem umiditatea destul de crescută.
The first 3 weeks of the racing season, the humidity level is very high. Afterwards, it switches to high temperatures.
It's a lot of different variations for the birds to deal with, isn't it? There's different. There's no constants here at all.
No,
You can
no.
switch from one to the other. Another question from Chris Davis. Do you compete in any one-off races?
Dacă am participat
orele.
la... personal n-am participat anul ăsta, mi s-a ridicat mingea la fileu.
Come on, translate
Că să
that.
traduci, nu știu.
There's no way I can translate that.
Polite
He
version.
did.
Provocare.
He didn't
partake in one-off races this year, but it happened that he
Un mascul provenind tot de la Cocoș, Petrică și Robert Mușat,
Da.
se află în crescătoria mea Blue Bugatti,
that a cock he's owning named Blue Bugatti, coming from Petrică Cocoș,
care este fiul unui porumbel olimpic,
which is the son of an Olympic bird.
este bunicul a 4 câștigători de Columbodroan.
It's actually the father of 4 one-loft races.
Oh, wow.
First prize?
Este, da,
First prize winner
câștigând și la As,
in final.
toți,
Winning ace titles,
toți acești porumbei
all these pigeons
fiind combinați tot
are,
cu alți pui din crescătoria noastră.
are the result of the combination between pigeons that are in this breeding stock.
Wow. So indirectly you're involved.
Deci pot să zic cu porumbei cu care câștigăm în campionat au dat randament și pe Columbodrome, dar nu la noi, la alte persoane.
So overall, he can strongly affirm that the same pigeons that flew in the national races are giving results, very top results in one loft races.
Excellent.
Eu cred un lucru, porumbelul bun și atât.
He's a strong believer in a very strong pigeon, a very good pigeon, and that's it.
De curând am adus și porumbei de columbodrom,
Currently, they brought into the loft one loft pigeons,
câștigători de finală, frați cu câștigători de finală cu ași,
ace pigeons, final race winners,
dar tot pe premiza mea că porumbelul bun
but they still
câștigă.
strongly believe that good pigeons win, always win.
Și cum au fost etapele în anul acesta la columbodrome? Foarte grele.
They have had a really bad season in
Viteze de 700,
one
800.
one loft races with arrival speeds of 700,
800, 900.
800, 900 meters per second.
Da? Din porumbeii noștri au reușit să câștige cu avans.
The pigeons coming from their loft made a difference, and they came with the head timing. They came up in front.
Cool. Right. Thank you for all the questions. One more question, Chris. How long have you had the family? You may have missed this, Chris, earlier. Kind of professionally, seriously, let's call it seriously. Started in 2012. I can answer that for you. And the inbreeding or line breeding question, we'll get clarification on. But yeah, 2012 when he was started seriously racing. So inbreeding or line breeding, or both.
Folosești vreuna din metodele de consanguinizare?
Până în momentul actual nu am folosit consanguinizarea.
Till the present moment, he never used inbreeding.
Mm-hmm.
De anul acesta, creând câțiva campioni,
But now, since he managed to obtain some top results with some of the birds,
ei fiind frați cu alți campioni din alte zone, campionii de anul ăsta sunt frați cu alți campioni din alte zone unde am dat pui.
them being brothers with or related to other pigeons that did results in numerous areas of the country,
O să încep să consanguinizez această familie.
they will start to inbreed and put together a strong family based on these birds.
S-a remarcat că o familie de la bunic, fiu, nepot, strănepot,
They noticed that a family of pigeons bred on the same line from grandfather, grandson,
au reușit să câștige.
managed to win good results.
E păcat să pierd această familie și trebuie să o consanguinizez pentru a introduce în alte linii de sprint.
And he's feeling like it would be a shame to lose all these genetic qualities, and he's thinking of inbreeding just to conserve and put together a family of pigeons that would keep
That makes
all
sense.
these qualities together.
That makes sense to do for sure. So we've answered all your questions. So what I want to do is I want to just quickly before we finish the live broadcast, I want to show you the stock loft of where all of this success has come from. So Gabi, we're at the house where the stock loft is. He races from another location, but it's just a very normal, regular race loft. I'm going to show you the stock loft of where this success comes from, and to me, it shows a few things. It shows you don't need a majorly fancy setup. Obviously, you need good birds, but I'm going to show you the stock loft. I've already seen the stock loft, and it's going to show you where all this success comes from. And I think that's inspiration to people watching this that do have normal back garden setups, you know? And I mean that in a positive way. What I mean is all of this sprint middle success and now moving into the extreme long distance success because he wants that big trophy is all coming out of this stock loft, and you're going to see what I mean in a minute. So It's quite dark down there, so if I trip up and the video goes off, you know that I've fell down a hole and broken something. But I'm going to go down there and show you the loft, and then maybe just for a couple of minutes you could point out a couple of the key stock birds. Yeah, and then we'll finish up. But thank you to everybody that's watching. Remember to share it, folks. I know I keep saying it. Remember to share it. Remember to put it in some Facebook groups. Anybody that's interested in Sprint Middle, get it out there. So we're going to go down now and look at the stock loft. We won't spend too long down there because I don't want to disturb the birds. It's 9:30 at night here, but we'll go in and get him to show. I tell you what I do want to show is I'll be holding the camera, so I'd like you to show that the dark checker cock that you showed me earlier, and one or two more birds, and I'll also explain how you've got your sections set up and stuff. Is that all right? Okay, let's go. So I'm going to get rid of I'm going to take the phone out of the very sophisticated technical setup that I've set up, and I will take you down to the stock loft, folks. So just give us a minute and we're going to go down, and I'm going to get him to show you a couple of the key birds. I'm going to turn around the camera. Yeah, I got it. Big hole. So here's the stock loft.
Although it's winter time, it's an open loft.
So yeah, winter time now, open loft. The aviary is just for bathing. That happens twice
A week.
Twice a week, sorry. I'm just concentrating on getting my thing up.
Aici avem 3 compartimente de masculi, reproducători.
We have two sections of breeding cocks.
Right, so we've got over here, we've got the over here we've got the sprint birds, sprint middle birds. Yeah?
No.
No, wrong way round.
Sorry?
These are the sprint birds, yeah?
Sunt 7 porumbei de maraton aduși.
Out of all of these birds, only 7 of them are extreme long distance pigeons.
Yeah,
Besides,
yeah, everything else is sprint.
Apart from that, everything
And the
else-
long distance are in here. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are all the sprint stock cocks. One of the questions that came in while we were coming down is, do you breed from the racing birds?
Se reproduci din păsările de zbor.
Îi împerechez văduvii. Îi împerechez în luna februarie.
So he's pairing up the racers, the widowhood racers, in February.
Unde voi păstra din viitorii văduvi câte un pui.
And he's keeping out of all the pairs one baby.
Pentru a-mi testa porumbei și la rândul de nepoți sau strănepoți din campionii noștri.
To test, thinking forward, to test the product out of them.
Yeah, definitely.
The outcome in the next racing season.
După terminarea sezonului,
After the season finishes,
las toți porumbeii să crească un rând de pui, toți porumbeii rămași,
he's letting all the remaining pigeons to breed.
cei selectați.
Out of the selected pigeons to breed one round of babies.
Să se bucure de familie și ei că s-au săturat de văduvire.
to create a bond and have that love of home.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Great, thank you for answering that. So these are this is the extreme long distance. Well, there's a few birds in here but the cocks in their boxes there. These are the 7 long distance cocks for the stock loft. Now, where was the dark checker? The dark checker was up there, wasn't he?
Ce să...
Gutul acela.
Stai, morul, nu?
Da.
I want you to specifically show us this bird, if that's okay.
Acesta
So
Este un porumbel de suflet pentru noi, pentru mine și Cătălin Căruntu la București.
This is a soul pigeon for them.
E un porumbel ce anual lupta pentru 2 etape.
It's a pigeon that each year was flown, raced only 2 races.
Unde se juca pe bani.
Can I mention that he was played for money?
Mm.
And he was only played for betting races.
Porumbelul acesta din 4 curse angajate, 4 curse de locul 1, în 2 ani diferiți.
In 2 different years, this pigeon obtained first places, 4 first places out of 4 races.
Se poate vedea și tonusul lui acum după ce a stat la reproducție atâta timp.
He's been in the breeding stock for how long? De cât timp se află în reproducție?
A zburat din 2016.
Since 2016, he's been in the racing loft, and although he's been only used for breeding, you can notice the condition the bird is in.
amazing. He was him and the blue checker cock up there are my 2 favourite birds out of your loft. Amazing. Thank you for showing us that. So there you go. This is where it all happens. This is the stock loft that he does all of this from. So I want you to keep an eye out for Gabi's name more, because you're going to be hearing more about him, because I'm going to be keeping you up to date with his results of what he's doing going into next year and beyond. And it's nice to see such a phenomenal performance in such a competitive area with birds that he's made into his own. You know, he's obviously brought the best birds in, but he's making them into his own, and the dedication is there to mean that it absolutely is happening. You're going to have to translate for me. I can get the first word from Sorin Floria.
Vă salut cu drag!
Salutări!
Thank you for watching, Sorin. Chris Davies says lovely wing. Yeah, it is great. You got one more bird for us.
Acesta este porumbelul de la Cocoș Petrică și Robert Mușat, mentorii mei.
This is the bird from Cocoș Petrică and Robert Mușat, their mentor.
El este tatăl tuturor, bunic, tatăl la mai toți campionii noștri.
He's the base cock and the father, grandfather and great-grandfather to all of his champions.
El este puiul primit de la Petrică.
He is the pigeon he received as a baby out of those that
So
babies.
this is
from
the
Petrică
father of the
Cocoș.
loft. I handled this bird earlier, and an amazing bird. So this is the father of the loft, grandfather of the loft, really. There you go.
Acesta este fiul lui.
Thank you, man.
Acesta este fiul lui.
This is his son, direct son.
You can tell it's his son, eh?
Care
Yeah,
este,
they look alike.
care este campionul Bucureștiului la FRSC.
This is the champion pigeon in Bucharest and the FSC organization.
Cool. You can tell it's his son,
It's
eh?
the exact copy.
Yeah, it is. There you go.
They look alike.
Wow. So you've seen the birds we were talking about earlier, for those of you who've been watching all the time. Yeah, like you say, exact copy indeed. Excellent, thank you. Right, guys, so we're going to wrap it up now. I just want to thank Gabi Cosman for the interpreting all day. Like I said, keep an eye out, because I'm going to be keeping track of the results, and you're going to be hearing a lot more. And then we're going to see conquering the extreme long distance happen next time as well. And thanks, man. Thank you for showing us around. Thank you to everybody that's watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the sharing that you've been doing. It's much appreciated. I'm not going to be live tomorrow, but I'm going to be alive again on Friday. Well, all being well, I'll be live, and we will catch you then. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good rest of your night, and I will catch you very soon. Be lucky.